The inspiration for this nature travel journal is to have something with you when you are in nature to write down thoughts and anything you ponder about. And to keep some little flowers or leaves you find. It can be a forest walk or sitting in your garden or visit a lovely park. These are the places that are so great to sit and ponder, as I like to call it. So you need something nice to support those moments, practical in size and with pockets or envelopes, with paper to write and images to inspire. I love to make this journal project myself, to keep it personal and custom made. I will keep making them throughout the years to come, every time changing it, I'm sure, a journey in itself. The Nature Travel Journal has two elements, a folio with a file folder and a journal that's inside of the folio. Today is all about making this fold-out folio. I made some fold-out folios before, and each time I'm changing little things and trying out a different style. Instead of grunge, like these ones, this folio is a bit more bright, shabby, botanical. The folio has some different steps to it, and I put them all on paper for you, as you can see here. And so it's easier to follow along and make it in your own pace. You can download this for free on my Ko-Fi page, and the link is down below. Although I tested the step-by-step plan, if I make a mistake or my English is a bit off, do let me know. I always love constructive criticism. And on a side note, yes, I have a new computer, so everything is much quicker and also not stopping at odd moments, which helps the workflow. I was never planning on making videos or starting a YouTube channel. It happened, just as crafting happened. It's a more therapeutic thing, but that's a whole other story and maybe being shared at another time. I am still using as my base the 49 Market papers. They're called Willow, this pack, along with the Acetate set. So this is the Willow Acetate. And when I saw this paper pack, the whole project of the botanical journal started in my head. So I love the green. Green is one of the colors I really love, and this has a little bit of grunge, has also a lot of brightness and a lot of green and nature elements. So this is kind of my thing. So the design of the paper, that will define how I will embellish the folio, because I want to try a little bit of find a balance between grungy and the bright and shabby. I have a great love for plants, nature, herbs, and so on. I'm using my botanical stamps. As you can see here on the back, the beautiful new stamp set I have from the French garden, which fits perfectly in this folio. And along the way, I discover with each journal and folio I make to make it even more to my taste, or solving creative problems I find along the way. So all materials I'm using will be listed down below in the description box. But you can see what I'm using. This is the staple, and of course I am using the beautiful photos. She's got flowers, or she has flowers, I think, from Art House Whimsy. One on the folio and a big one on the journal. And I'm using all sorts of embellishments, and of course I had some new stamp sets and I'm trying it out. As you can see, I used a piece of lace to give it more shabby kind of look, but here is a bit of grunge with the fabric from Holtz. I used a strip from one of the latest collection, the strips they are called, I believe. And the strips I have used to attach the brads on, so that is new in this folio. And also with this one, I don't know if you can see that, it's a little strip of paper. I put the brads on the strip and then glued the strip on. But we will come to that in a moment. So the back side you did see. Really loved it. I didn't want to do anything more about it. It's just really nice. I have, of course, this file folder. Made a video about it, so check it out. It is for keeping your pressed flowers in, but it gives a lovely interest here. And when I fold it out, I have here the piece of lace. This is kind of a belly band. There are two really nice things in here. Also made videos about them, so check them out if you want to make those. And when I go to the bottom flap, I have a piece of lace here, a little envelope full of ephemera to use in the journal. The middle fold out part has the beautiful big acetate piece, which I glued on one side. It has a beautiful overlap. There is here a label where you can put your name in. And this paper was so nice with all these hydrangeas that I didn't want to embellish it a lot. So I have used here a cutout stamp. This is just a little piece of lace. And on this side is also new for this folio. I made a pocket but out of acetate. And I don't know if you can see it really clearly, but it's just a rectangle, or a rectangle. I glued a little bit of acetate on, and this is a bookmark for in the journal. So this way don't have to cover up the pretty design, but still have my pocket. And of course here is going to be the journal. So I have made this step by step. You can print it out, but also this video will be following those steps. So it's very easy for you to make. And the whole video and all the steps are time-stamped, so you can easily go back to the specific step you are on. Before the first step, it says, read every step first before doing it. So that's kind of what you always see when you're doing an exam. Read it first and then do it. So let's do step 1. And it is really good to know how this folio is constructed, because you see here figure A and you see figure B. So these are two strips of paper, and they are placed on each other like a cross. So this is a strip, and this vertical piece is a strip that's under it. And those two are cut from one sheet. So let's read out the step. So cut from a 12 by 12 sheet, one piece of 6 by 12, that's figure A, and one piece of 4 1/4 times 12. That's this one. Then cut a strip of 1 1/4 inch from figure A. So here there's a little strip because we don't use the full length of the 12, but we're going to cut a piece off from 1 1/4, and that will be attached to this vertical strip because we need a longer strip. And I have hid the attachment part under this strip of paper. So this strip is attached to that. Use the leftover strip, and with leftover I mean if you cut out this one and this one, there's still leftover, and that you can use for belly band, pockets, and a bookmark I also made from the leftover strip. Step 2. I have zoomed out a little bit so you can see the 12 by 12 sheet is now cut, and what I have left is this little strip. But you can use this side and you can do some nice stamping on it. This is figure A. This is figure B. This is figure C, which we will attach to this. And this is a leftover strip. And I make a belly band out of it and a bookmark. So let me zoom in a little bit. Let's read step 2. Score both strips, figure A and C, as marked on the figures above. Decide what design goes on the outside and inside. So what do I mean with that last sentence? That is, if you want to make a cross, you can decide what you want on the outside and what you want on the inside. I do love this spread of flowers, so I'm going to do this on the inside or the up side and this down. And so for contrast, you could, depends on the design you have, you could do it like this so you have more contrast. Flip it over and see how this will look like. But when it's folded close, you will only see this strip with the design on it. To score, I am just using a small scoring board, and that is totally fine. When you look at the plan, you see that all the gussets, there are 2 gussets on every strip, and they are 1/4 inch, all of them. So this one here has 3 inches, then the gusset, and then here also 3. So I can score on both sides at 3 and then take 1/4 inch. On this side, this one will go on top with these pretty flowers. That will be the top flap. So I'm going to score 4 inches because that's the top flap. So when you look at this figure, then what I am doing is that this is my top flap and this is my bottom flap where the pieces are attached. But you could turn it around if you want to. This one will be 1.5 inch. That's here. Plus 1/4 inch. And that's here. So that's just a really small bit, but this bit that we cut off is going to be attached to this. But that is the next step, because now this was the scoring and we can move on to the next step. Step 3. We're going to attach this piece to figure B. Let's read out the step 3 first. So attach figure C to figure B. Use washi tape, cello sticker tape, fabric tape, or anything you want. This will be the bottom flap. You can shift with the sizes of the bottom and top flap as long as there is an overlap and the size of the middle part stays the same. So make sure that this will remain 6 inches, and then if you want to have a lower closure, then you can just adjust these sizes. This is my inner side, and I'm going to glue it like this. There's going to be, I can also do it like that. You can do it like this. It's just up to you if you want to reverse the colors. Sometimes it gives a nice detail. I'm using this washi tape, but you can use anything you want. Also, the cello sticker tape from Tim Holtz is excellent for this. I've used that in a previous folio. But with me, you're not going to see it. So I'm just going to use this To attach the pieces together, it can be a little bit fiddly, but what I'm doing is just, I'm going to tape first one side, turn it over, then I know, double check that I want it like that, and then I'm going to use the bone folder from my scoring board. So now I can cut it, and it's all to size. So this is the leftover bit, and you can use it. So I'm going to keep this bit, and by cutting it with the ruler and knife, it is really a nice clean cut, and I like that. It is a little bit wobbly, as you can see, because it's only fastened on one side. But that's going to change because, of course, there's going to be something on this side. Just follow along with the steps and we will get there. So we're going to step 4, and that's an easy step. Round corners, I used 7 millimeters. That's just what it says. So I have this one, and then you have 3 kinds of corners. You want to do a small or a wider corner, and I'm choosing this one, but it really doesn't matter which one you choose, because a rounded corner just looks nice and finished, and also with using the journal you won't get curly corners. So I'm going to use the 7 millimeters for cutting, and it is an easy step, but you have to be mindful about placing this nice in the corner. So that's why I'm turning it around like this, so I can see that I've got a nice corner. So this piece is already done, and it looks really as a nice finish. That was an easy and quick step, so we're going to get forward and go to step 5. Let's read it. Ink or sand the edges if you like. If you want to stamp, doing it now is easier. Okay, because after this step, we're going to make the closure and fasten it on these strips, and also going into sewing or not, and attaching the strips to each other. And after each step there will be more bulk, and sometimes it's hard to stamp if there is a lot of bulk, and you don't always know exactly what you want to stamp on it, but now you already have kind of a way to see how it will become when you placing it on each other like that. So you know that this is going to be your cross. And then you see that this is a fairly empty piece. And well, maybe on this top you could stamp something. And if you look at the back, you can also see that there is a light design. So it is very nice to stamp something on this. And of course I already do have a plan on how I want to embellish it, and I'm going to follow the same plan. So that's why I already know what kinds of things I want to attach to it. But it's maybe this is a place to maybe figure out what you want and how you want to embellish it. And if you want to stamp now, it is very nice to do, and also you can use a stamping platform if you want to. So there's also a choice of how you want to finish the edges. So you can't use a distress ink to go around it, but you can also sand it lightly. And I did that with my Folio, and with the previous ones I edged it. It's both lovely. It depends on your preference. I'm going to use sanding, and I'm going to do that first before the stamping, because then I can clear all the all the dust away of the sanding and have a clean plate, and then go and do some stamping. I am using a paper out of my paper bin to put underneath when I'm sanding, because you don't want to sand on your glass mat. That's not a good idea. So you can, if you want to, put it in your hand and just do this. But you can also lay it down and just be very mindful not to put too much pressure on it, because you can go through the paper and you don't want that. And so you have here a really nice, you get a little bit of a white line, as you can see. So this I'm going to continue for both strips, back and front side. And I am ready for some stamping, because I already know that I want to have a really nice stamp on the back side. And now, because it's a big stamp, it's really nice to have like a flat paper and do it in this step. So I'm going to use the beautiful French garden. Yes. Look at how beautiful this is. I love it. So I'm going to just use one more stamp. Put it a little bit off the page. Let's do that. I love that, gives more, I don't know how to call it in English. and now I can do the finishing touch, and then it will be just like, you don't have to do anymore. It's using my favorite splatter stamp. It's this one, and I can just stamp out of my hand. I'm going to use a distress ink, and let's choose for a dark one, but I think I'm going for a forest moss, and I'm just going to just like that. And I think that will be, this will be enough. And I'm also going to stamp a bit on the inside. And that's going to be the beautiful branch with leaves. And with this leaf, I'm also going to do a little bit of the splatter stamp. Just because splatters are fun. And I don't have to embellish this because the belly band is coming here. So this is really nice to fill in the room. And then I think I'm also going to use some of the Tidbits stamps. Let me show you the final result of the stamping. I did it a little bit out of the edge because I'm going to sew. And yes, here a little bit of the Tidbits. It's a really lovely stamp. So I have the flaps and the back side, and if I want to do any more stamping, it will be small ones, and that I can do anytime. We are already on step 6, so let's read the instructions. For the closing, you need 2 brads, 2 circles of 5/8 of an inch with a hole in the middle, a string of about 10 inches, and something to poke holes. For figure B, make a mark in the center of the top flap at 3/4 of an inch from the edge, and the bottom flap at 1¼ inch from the edge. You can poke a hole, put a brad through, and use a piece of washi on the other side over the legs of the brads. Or, that is your second option, fasten the brads on a strip and glue the strip on the flaps. And that's what I'm going to do, and that's what you're going to see. So this flap, the figure B, is marked for the holes. So you can poke a hole through here and poke a hole through the circle, put a brad through, and then be mindful that when you put the brad through, that you put the string on first, circle on top, then put the brad through, so you have this extra room for the brad, for the rope to go along. Then on the other side, the legs of the brads, you can put a little bit of washi tape on them if you want to. If you want to go the extra mile, you can emboss, glaze these circles if you want some extra effect. Just a clear embossing or a color. Just do your thing. But what I am going to do is attach the brads to a strip. So I have selected a strip from the Tim Holtz paper strip. It's from this year's Ideology collection, and I've chosen this one. And then I can, what I want to do is on the bottom flap, because this is still a little bit wobbly, I'm going to attach this strip. So I'm going to first poke a hole through, attach the brad, the circle, everything, then glue it on here. Then the piece of what I have left over, I'm going to put on the top flap. First, putting the brad and the circle on, and then gluing it exactly on that spot, like this. So I have a closure without the legs of the brads coming out of the other side. You don't have the extra bulk of the legs of the brad, and you don't have the visual. So it's just a preference if you want it like that. And on to step 7. We're going to fold the scoring lines. Going to use a bone folder for it. And then cutting some belly bands and or acetate lace pockets for the flaps. So you can use the leftover bits or you can use some extra material you already have. So if you have cut belly bands or pockets, you can pin it on and sew it, and you can sew it together in the next step, or you can just now glue them on. So at this point I need to tell you that I'm making 2 folios. One I made and wrote out the steps, and I did a little bit of filming. And this one I'm making alongside of reading the steps. So if you see quite a little bit of a difference, it's not you. There are 2 folios. So this one is already done at this moment, but it is the same paper. Because I have 2 designs of each, I have made the same paper, and I was trying to do kind of the same design, but I've already done something different, as you can see. So now is a very good time to tell you there are 2 folios. But I'm going to continue with this one alongside with your steps. Now we're moving on to the belly bands and the pockets, and a little bit of embellishing, as you can see by the lace, because now it is time to think about if you want to only glue the folio, or if you want to sew it. I'm going to sew it because I love the detail of it, and I did it with this folio, as you can see, and also did some sewing over the belly bands. So now it is time also to think about if you want to sew or not. It is not necessary to sew it, because you can make this folio just by gluing it. So don't feel obligated, but it's really nice to try it. Okay, let's move on to the belly bands. I had a leftover strip. From that leftover strip, I have cut a belly band, this one, and this is going to be the bookmark. I'm going to set this aside. What I did is just rounded the corners, put a hole in it, and then stamped it. That's about it, and maybe put a little nice ribbon through. That's the bookmark. The bookmark is going into an acetate pocket, and I have cut this. I don't know if you can see this really well, but I have rounded the corners because the corner of the edge is also rounded in this folio. And I've made it to fit, and the acetate pocket is 2 3/4 wide and 4 1/4 high. But you can like get other measurements if you want to. But it's just that it's a little bit off the sides. So this pocket, I'm not going to glue that because you can see that, and I think that's ugly. So I'm going to pin it with a paper clip. And when I'm going to sew it, I will keep it nice in place. So this is on. Then the belly band is going here. And I'm going to do a little bit of glue on it. I have to position it where I want it, and I want a bit of lace on top of it. I think this one. This is my flea market lace. And put some on here. So I'm going to glue that on. So in the next step, I'm going to nicely take it with me with sewing. So this is one thing I'm going to do. Then let's see what else. On the top flap on the outside, also going to put some lace here, and I'm going to let that fall over the edge because that's a really nice detail. Also going to glue that on. Then let's see, going to have this piece of lace. This is something I bought, and it's elastic, and that's nice to make a pocket because it is wide. So I'm going to, it's very difficult to glue this kind of lace, but I'm going to just do some dots, and then I'm going to take that with me with sewing it, so then it will be very good attached. So I'm going to glue that on, and later after sewing I'm going to trim it so it's nicely not sticking over. Okay, so that, do I forget something? Let's see. There's this pocket, and I'm also going to let that stick out because I do like this detail. So I'm going to do this. Here's the lace going on. On the belly band is going to get some lace. Yes, I think that's it. So I'm going to prepare this so it's all ready for the sewing part. Everything is glued on the lace here. I even put this strip on because it would be nice to give this a stitch as well. Then the belly band is glued on with the lace. This bottom pocket is glued, and that's it. This one is just pinned with a paper clip. So it's all ready for the big process of sewing. And if you are not sewing, then you have glued this on very well. And maybe instead of sewing, you could make a really nice ribbon edge, because the sewing does a lot. As you can see, this one not sewn and this. So you see it gives what effect it gives. Step 8. This is the step where everything comes together, the big step. Because for now these are still two separate pieces. And we need to attach them together. This one is already attached. But if you are sewing, then there is some extra work. And that you can see, I did not put it together and then sewed it, but I just sewed one piece separate, then put it together and then sew the other piece. You can see it in this, if I turn it around, you can see that this vertical piece, when it's not attached, I sewn around it. Then I glued the two pieces on top, and then I have sewn only this border. So then you get the nice effect that it has now. Let's read out the step. Sewing and gluing A and B together. If you are only gluing, then you turn figure B vertical and figure A horizontally on top, so you make your cross. And if you want to keep the tuck spot, as I have here for the file folder that's tucked in here, then you only glue the top, bottom and left side as marked in dark gray in figure A. So here you can see some dark lines. That is where you're gluing. So you can tuck in the file folder from this side. Now we're going to the sewing. If you like to sew your project, then first sew figure B, that's this one, the vertical one. I use a zigzag stitch, and you can use any stitch you like, of course. Then when you've done that, you are gluing figure A on top of figure B, exactly like that, on the dark marked lines. And then you are stitching and following the line of figure A all around. If you do use a contrasting color, then it gives a really nice effect, but do use the color that fits best to your project. So I did the sewing for this folio, and from the distance I think you can see that I use another color thread, but I must say, sewing and putting it all together, it gives such a accomplishment. The feeling is really, really great. And I know this is a bigger project, but the feeling you get when you have it almost done is also bigger. So let's go and see how this looks. So I used an off-white thread, kind of the color of the lace. And it is a bit more muted, the effects, but I do like it. There are things that I like more in this one. I did some little tweaks. So I did now, I have sewn this on, and I like it because of the extra thread. As you can see on the back side, there's really a big collection of thread, because I also did something here on the top. And all this thread is hanging down, so I do love that effect. So this is something I'm going to continue with. I do like the tape, and the orange is a little bit brighter. I haven't even finished embellishing, of course, Then the inside. And also do like the choice of lace on this one. Better than that one. And this is the inside top flap. And then the bottom. This one I just stapled on. Could also sew it, of course. And now what I've done also is now sewn on this acetate piece. As in this one I glued it, and I do love it. Just the sewing and nothing else. It's just stable, and it even is kind of a tuck spot, so you can put little things behind. So I do like that. And I even done some sewing on the bookmark. I've made that in between doing everything for this project. And what I have done with this bookmark, I did a little bit of stamping just in black. And because I had this, as you can see, my sewing is not really that good. But with this project, it doesn't really matter. You don't want me to make you a blouse, because that will look like this. Really, this is just the way I sew. But this extra thread is just really nice on the bookmark, and I can put something else through the hole, maybe something green. I will search for something. So this is already the first embellishment on the folio. I do like the result with the white. Yes, I love the variation. Let me know what you think. I'm very curious. Do you like the green sewing, the green thread, or the white? Now we are moving on to the final step, step 9. And because I did that with all the other steps, I'm going to read it. It's not that difficult, but the even more fun part is embellishing the folio. For inspiration, you can watch the videos on it I made. You can find them in the description under the video that belongs to this tutorial. But you are already watching this video. So I have, before making this video, I made a lot of videos of all the embellishments that are in the folio. So if you want some inspiration, you can watch those. But maybe you have already things like ephemera laying around. Maybe you made it, you bought some really nice ephemera packs. Use them in the folio. This is just a great way to use them. So I am going to embellish this. You know what I'm going to do. It's the same process as this, and I let you see the end result. We are at the end of step 9, and that is all the embellishments on the outside and the inside are done, or almost done, because you know you can't keep going on, but I have stopped myself because I want to finish the video, of course, and show you the results. Did you make this with me? And are you now also sitting with your own folio? Then great job, and hope you're very satisfied with your beautiful folio. And do tag me on social or comment. I would love to know if you would give this a try. And if you like my tutorial, please give me a thumbs up. So that will help me in, well, growing my channel and also knowing that you like this video. And if you want to go further and make the complete nature travel journal, in one of the next videos I'm going to show you, for both of these folios, journals that I made inside. But I've also found something, another solution you could say, or an idea what you can put inside the folio. And I will show that to you at the end of the video, because I'm going to stop talking in a minute and just do a showing of both folios and the outside and the inside, and play a lovely music with it. And so you can enjoy and watch in detail what I have done. And I hope you get inspired, get ideas for your own projects. And I really hope you like this video. So I will say goodbye, but keep watching for the show.
You can't turn the tide, let the water go where it wants to go. You can run and hide, you can bury yourself beneath the stones. Somebody told me don't pretend, 'cause everyone could use a friend sometimes. Take some good advice. Don't let your fear decide. That's how you break inside. You don't need to worry, somebody's waiting down the line. You pick up the pieces, hey, you'll be alright. I can feel the sun and how the wind makes way across the fields. Let me take a breath. Let me be a part of something real. Someone said it's better when you hold on to a helping hand. Sometimes we could all use a friend. Don't let your fear decide. That's how you break inside. You don't need to worry, somebody's waiting down the line to pick up the pieces. Hey, you'll be alright. You'll be alright. Waiting down the line. So don't let your fear decide. That's how you break inside. You don't need to worry, somebody's waiting down the line to pick up the pieces. Hey, you'll be alright. There will be someone waiting down the line. The fall is coming, I can feel it. The breeze brings goosebumps to my skin. Tonight the whiskey feels stronger. Gasoline on hidden desires. So I'll throw